is Dan. I'm from the future. 6 ABC Box Off Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Dan Cuellar is a prime example of a broadcast pioneer.
On the scene for the last 24 hours, Dan Cuellar from Action News. There was a lot of fear that whoever did this could strike again.
This palace, which once belonged to one of the Emir's relatives, which was once a place of beauty, was turned into a torture chamber.
He's covered major local, national, and international events.
As you can see, it pretty well remains intact, except for the warhead, which was decimated when the American Patriot missile hit it right on.
You will be hearing about life on the front line, as told by the men and women of the Delaware Valley.
And it is the place where the world will come together again to pay homage to those lost. Indeed, it is likely to become the most visited site in this city. Tens of thousands gathered to memorialize the victims of the worst massacre in U.S. history. At Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, Dan Cuellar.
For more than 30 years, Dan has been reporting accurate, compelling, and exclusive stories. Before joining 6 ABC Action News as a reporter in 1988, Dan worked at KHOU in Houston and in San Antonio.
Live in the Northeast, live at Newcastle County Police Headquarters in Delaware.
I'm Dan Cuellar, Channel 6 Action News, Tuesday.
I'm Dan Cuellar, Channel 6 Action News.
It is with great pleasure that we are here this evening to introduce Dan Cuellar into the Broadcast Pioneers Hall of Fame.
And before you speak, I have something for you. This United States flag flew over the U.S. Capitol today in your honor from Congressman Bob Brady. Also has a resolution I will not read, but it salutes Dan for his work. And this is from the Pennsylvania Congressional Delegation. It's yours.
And to think that none of this was meant to happen if it had been left solely to me. You see, I wanted to be a DJ, but one day a former colleague, Dewey Acker, called me, offered me a job in television, and he said, "Hey, I think I have a job you could do." He didn't mention that the office was a trailer at the transmitter site in the middle of a cornfield. A few years later, I was sending resume tapes everywhere, but Philadelphia. Then Action News came knocking. And like Sherry, I didn't think I was going to stay here long. Boy, was I ever wrong. I've never been one to seek recognition, but right now I'm feeling very lucky that I landed here in Philadelphia and an amazing place called Action News. I couldn't have imagined that 23 years ago when I started here, that all these wonderful things would have happened in my life in this great market. But no person ever reaches a pinnacle and honor like this without considerable help from so many people. There were times on the job, honestly, when I felt like I was hanging on to driftwood. But those were the times when my colleagues had my back. Whether I was in Iraq, Bosnia, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and places in between, there were always colleagues with me, like Brian Smith, Bob McCune, Lou Lozada, the unsung heroes who made it happen. And then there are others every day, like Eric Hughes and others on the assignment desk, who get you logistical support, backup, and a lot more when you need it most. I can't tell you how many times that things would not have gone in the air had it not been for their efforts. Then there is my former boss, Carla Carpenter. Sort of intimidating when I first met her, but ultimately a dream boss if there ever was one. She pushed me hard like a darn good football coach pushes her players. She taught me, among other things, that nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. I learned a lot from her about news and people, and in her later years, a lot about compassion. But I would be remiss here tonight if I didn't mention another important person in my career at Action News, Jim Gardner. Jim offered a lot of sage advice on humility, fairness, uncompromising honesty, and most of all, integrity. So I just wanted all of you to know how this came to be. And I want to thank my family and friends for all their support through the years. And to my kids, Trina, Carly, and Daniel, for the many times I was away from home as they were growing up. And to all our fans, all our viewers that have made Action News the huge success that it is, and I thank them for that. And lastly, to the many broadcast pioneers here tonight who carried the torch of journalism and broadcasting long before I ever came here. Thank you for paving the way and setting the bar of what's expected here. It is an honor and a privilege to be among you. God bless you, and thank you very much.